Hey everyone, Danny here today to talk to you about the 8th book in the Good Guys series by Eric Ugland called Eastbound and Town. Eastbound and Town, I'm loaded up and trucking. I've had that song going through my head. This was a book that I blazed through. I started it, I could not put it down, I finished it. Part of that is because I'm so vested in this book series. As soon as the next book comes out, I'm on it. I want to finish it. I want to know what happens to Montana. Part of that is because of what happened to Montana at the end of the last book. I want to know, how are they going to continue this book from where it ended at the last book? Before I get into that, I have a favor to ask. If, like me, you love audiobooks, please subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications. Come join me in my audiobook journey. What do I mean by how the last book ended? Well, if you listen to the last book, Montana dies. And he respawns at his original spawn point, clean across the country. Clean across the continent. That's the word I'm looking for. Continent, thank you. Clean across the continent. Miles and weeks away from Cogs Hall, all kinds of enemies and monsters and everything else in between. How's he going to make it home? Is he going to make it home within one book? Is it going to take several books for him to get home? These are all the burning questions that were in my mind. They were all answered by this book. So, get into a little bit of spoilers here, but not too much. Yes, he makes it home in this book. These books are all fast-paced books. And when I say fast-paced, I don't mean they feel like the author wrote them quickly, just write them and shove them out, write them, shove them. That's not what I mean at all. They're extremely well-written books. They're fast-paced in that they move along very, very quickly. You've got a lot of actions. A single book will have a lot of quests and side quests in it. It'll have one main quest and several side quests in it. The main quest may take a couple of books, but there's always several side quests in it. What's interesting to me was this book, he didn't get nearly as many quest notifications, but he still had what felt like a lot of side quests that occurred. But they occurred and he had to deal with them now. He didn't have to decide, hey, am I going to deal with this? Am I not going to deal with this? It was, okay, we got to deal with this now because we can't move on until this is dealt with. He respawns back on the mountain. He's got to make his way home. Fitch comes into play in that, of course. So that's why he makes it home within the first half of the book. That being said, he does not make it home without running into trouble. He gets a really cool weapon at this Old West kind of a town. He has to kill a monster fish with a lion, with the help of a lion. Yeah, he faces off at an army, not an army, but dang it, I lost the word there. Anyhow, a group of soldiers that are a group of scouts for an army. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you very much for putting that word in my head. That was what I was looking for. Then he gets to the city, back to Cogs Hall. Now, I read the reviews. Not all the time, but occasionally I read the reviews just out of curiosity, so what other people are saying about a book series and to see if I agree. Lots of reviews on Audible about this book, and the only complaint, so the reviews are all great. When there's a complaint, it's the same complaint, and it's a complaint that I completely disagree with. Everyone who put this complaint in there is wrong, dead wrong. They obviously haven't listened to the first 7 books if they're putting this complaint in there. Because their complaint is that Montana's not growing. Montana continues to make the same stupid mistakes. Montana is growing as a character and as a person. As a leader, he's growing. And you see that in this book. Because in this book, there are 3 times that come just to the top of my mind When Montana is faced with a situation where he has this overwhelming desire to either take an action or to stand firm and say, no. A lot of F-bombs in this book. Just to warn you, a lot of F-bombs in this book. So he would not say, no. He'd say, F no. And I'm not going to swear on the video, obviously. But that would be what he would do. And instead, either Mr. Paul or Nikolai are trying to advise him. And he actually listens to them. There's one time when he wants to go through a door, and Mr. Paul is like, oh no, you open that door, you and everyone is dead. And he listens, he doesn't open the door. The last book, a couple of books ago, I'm going to open that door because I want to know what's behind it because I can't control my curiosity. And he would have opened that door. He's got a friend in a dire situation, and he wants to leave because he's desperate to help out his friend. And Nikolai's like, no. Nikolai gives different advice. He listens to Nikolai. I won't tell you what happens with the friend because that's a major part of this book. But he actually listens to Nikolai at that moment in the book. He's having a confrontation with some gods, because new gods come into play in this book, of course. He's having a confrontation with some gods, and they want to take a life. And he's like, no, I will not allow that. They want to do other things to him personally. No, I will not allow that. And Mr. Paul is giving him advice on how to handle this situation. He listens to Mr. Paul, even though it goes contrary to what he wants to do. He's learning. He's growing. He's becoming the good guy he wants to be. He understands that he needs to change how he reacts to situations in order to be a leader. And so those people that put those comments in there that, they don't like the book series because the character's not growing, you're wrong. There's a lot of growth in this character from book 1 to where we are right now. He's still stubborn. He still has his idea of who he wants to be and how he wants this world to be, and he's still going to leave his imprint on it. But he's learning to listen, and he is growing. I love the humor in this book, in all these books. And this is really, I realized something listening to this book. Now, those of us who love audiobooks, we know that a narrator can make or break an audiobook. There's a saying that a good narrator can read you from the dictionary, and Audible actually did a fun thing a couple of years ago where they took some of their best narrators and they had them read a section from a dictionary. And then they just released that for free to all of the Audible members as something to listen. And it was fun to listen to, believe it or not, especially if you took it in the spirit it was meant in. Good narrator can do that. But there are certain books that take that up a notch, that you really need a good narrator. So this book has a lot of humor, and a lot of the humor comes from these short little snippets of conversation. So you'll have Montana talking to Nikolai. Nikolai will say a sentence, Montana will respond with a word. Nikolai will respond with 2 words. Montana will respond with a word. Nikolai will respond with a word. Montana will respond with 4 words. Never at all does the author put, and he said, oh, and then Nikolai responded, oh, and then Montana said. So the narrator has to be good enough that you can follow the conversation and without focusing on it, I'm at the gym, I'm working out, I'm listening to this, and I'm got half my mind on the book, half my mind on my set, whatever I'm doing. I have no problem at all following this conversation. I have no problem at all. Nikolai says something, Montana responds with sarcasm, and it's a single word, and I have no problem picking up on the fact that that's Montana being sarcastic. That takes a really great narrator. And Neil Hellegers is a great narrator, and he does great. And he's done all 8 of these books. I pray that he does all the books in these series. It would absolutely ruin it if they switched to another narrator at this point. One of my absolute favorite book series. Now I've got to suck it up and wait for book 9. Come on, Eric, get it out, get it on Audible, please, because I really can't wait. I love this book series. If you like this review, please hit the like button. If you like my channel, I almost forgot the word I was looking for. If you like my channel, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. Questions, comments, feedback, that's what the comment section's for. Put them in there. But most importantly, no matter what else you do today, make sure that today you listen to at least one really good audiobook. And oh boy, do I recommend any of the 8 books in the Good Guy series by Neil Hellegers. Thank you.